Good morning and welcome to the second annual University of South Carolina Molinaroli College of Engineering and Computing Nuclear Summit. Like many of you today who joined us last year, I'm looking around this room in awe. We went from 80 people to 400 plus because many of you didn't register and just showed up today, but we are very glad to have you. So welcome. I'm Ethel Bunch, founder of the Palmetto Nuclear Coalition, an extremely passionate South Carolinian, a 2-degree Gamecock, and I would be very remiss if I did not do a shout out to our Lady Gamecocks. So go Lady Gamecocks. Palmetto Nuclear Coalition serves as South Carolina's coordinating mechanism, bringing together utilities, off-takers, academia, industry, and policymakers with one purpose: to elevate our state and claim our moment in America's nuclear resurgence. Thank you to our host, USC's Molinaroli College of Engineering and Computing, for recognizing early on what the nation now sees. South Carolina is and will remain a nuclear leader. Santee Cooper, thank you for your stewardship of VC Summer, one of the most consequential, if not the most consequential, energy asset in the country. And to our sponsors, speakers, and guests, thank you for showing up today for South Carolina. So, why South Carolina? Home to the only partially completed AP1000 reactors in the U.S., capable of delivering 22 megawatts of energy on an accelerated timeline. One of America's strongest nuclear workforces, producing over 55% of our power, making South Carolina the third largest nuclear producing state per capita. Westinghouse fuel fabrication right here in Columbia produces 10% of our country's nuclear fuel. Savannah River Site and Savannah River National Lab anchor national security and nuclear R&D. Joint Base Charleston trains the Navy's nuclear propulsion operators. Our SC Nexus hub positions us as a national engine for energy innovation. And here at USC, the nationally ranked Molinaroli College will present a world-class nuclear innovation center vision focused on reactor innovation, commercialization, workforce development, and supply chain expansion. South Carolina is not just joining the nuclear resurgence. South Carolina is the catalyst. So what are you in for today? Today reflects the full arc of the resurgence, from local opportunity to national strategy. You will hear the path forward for VC Summer, the most advanced AP1000 restart opportunity in the U.S., the federal government's $80 billion nuclear partnership, fleet readiness, and public-private deployment, AI, digital engineering, and advanced analytics reshaping cost, schedule, and reactor performance, how DoD and DOE are advancing microreactors and SMRs, how South Carolina is uniquely positioned to lead in next-generation fuel cycle innovation, state policy, regulatory alignment, and federal-state partnership, the role of academia and the nuclear talent pipeline, and hot off the press, PwC's economic impact and workforce findings for VC Summer, transformational numbers for our state. What this is today is build it and they will come. VC Summer is our catalyst, but what that will bring is the workforce and the supply chain, and the innovation will follow. We are truly building the research triangle in Silicon Valley for nuclear right here in the state of South Carolina. So this is more than a conference. It is a 360-degree view of America's nuclear future and South Carolina's place at the center of it. There are many people in this room who have worked on this for decades, and they have dedicated their lives to this very moment. And there are many people in this room who have worked for over 2 years, quietly and relentlessly, to align the right people, the right assets at the right moment, breaking down silos, connecting industry and government, overcoming doubt, and proving once again that South Carolina punches above its weight. At last year's summit in August 2024, a question began to surface. What if South Carolina led America's nuclear resurgence, starting with VC Summer? What if we could turn things around and make VC Summer the blueprint for America's energy dominance, national security, and global competitiveness? The signs were already there, with 3 Mile Isle restarting, Palisades returning to service, which, by the way, don't hold a candle to our project. The nation was moving, and South Carolina was perfectly aligned. After last year's summit, it accelerated in a meaningful way. Governor McMaster directed Rick Lee, chair of the Governor's Nuclear Advisory Council, to assess the site. Senator Tom Davis advanced a unanimous joint resolution supporting Santee Cooper's RFP process as a responsible step to understand the value of the asset. And Jimmy Staten and Santee Cooper led a bold, disciplined RFP process to gauge market interest, and the response confirmed just how significant this opportunity truly is. Today, VC Summer is the most advanced AP1000 opportunity for the country. Federally, President Trump's Executive Order 14299 set a national mandate: accelerate nuclear deployment, strengthen domestic manufacturing, build a national AP1000 fleet, the very technology on which VC Summer is built. And he went one step further, including completing construction for nuclear reactors that were prematurely suspended. Well, I hope that sounds familiar. South Carolina is not just aligned, we are being called to deliver. And what's different now? Serious private sector investment ready to move. Federal incentives that close cost gaps and reward speed. Vogtle Unit 3 and 4, proving that the AP1000 model works and it's no longer first of a kind. This is bigger than any single project. Nuclear energy underpins grid stability, energy independence, domestic manufacturing, national security, economic resilience, a clean, reliable energy future. South Carolina has done this before. We built the nuclear workforce the nation depends on. We powered the Cold War, and now we are being called to lead again. As we open this summit, let this be our charge. South Carolina is ready. South Carolina has the assets. South Carolina has the leadership. South Carolina has the will. So it is now my privilege to welcome Dean Hossein Haj-Hariri, Dean of the Molinaroli College of Engineering and Computing, and our host for the second year of South Carolina's Nuclear Summit. His leadership and vision has positioned USC and our state at the forefront of America's nuclear resurgence. Dean, thank you for hosting us once again and for your steadfast partnership. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome back to the second annual Nuclear Summit. It's deeply satisfying to see how we have grown from last year until this year. It's unbelievable. And thank you, Ethel, for all you have done to make this happen. When many of us gathered here a year ago, we came with a shared conviction that South Carolina had the assets, the capability, and the opportunity to lead America's nuclear resurgence, but that we had to find the right way to crack the nuclear nut. We had the research universities. We had a growing industrial and manufacturing base. We had expanding computing and energy demands, and a state that relies heavily on nuclear power. At the same time, we knew we were not major players in the national energy supply chain, and that our state had few alternative resources of reliable baseload power. The question was not why South Carolina should lead. Those reasons were obvious. The question was how we would align our strengths to make it real. Over the past year, our shared vision has transformed into coordinated action. Our research universities have strengthened their capabilities. Federal and industry partners have deepened their engagement. And our state government, proactive, pragmatic, and aligned with national priorities, has leaned forward at exactly the right time. And of course, we have something no one else in the nation can claim: a head start in the form of VC Summer, the most advanced large reactor restart opportunity in the US. These pieces, our technical excellence, our manufacturing base, our energy needs, our national laboratory ecosystem, and the leadership of this state are no longer just assets. They are the foundation of a coherent, collective strategy that is beginning to take shape visibly and powerfully. And nowhere is that more evident than here at USC. Over the last decade, our college has grown research by a factor of 4 to 77 million last year. We expanded our enrollment to 3,600 students and emerged as the fastest rising engineering college in the nation. We have built focused strength in energy, materials, power electronics, advanced manufacturing, and of course, nuclear engineering, capabilities that place USC at the center of our nuclear future. Today's summit is not simply a gathering, it is a milestone. It marks the moment when South Carolina's assets, opportunities, and ambitions begin to converge into a unified vision. Over the next several hours, you will hear from leaders shaping this future, including discussions of the Nuclear Innovation Center that will anchor our new engineering district and serve as an engine for advanced reactor development, workforce training, and public-private partnership. So last year we asked, can South Carolina lead? This year the evidence tells us the answer is yes. And now the real work begins. So welcome to our second nuclear summit. And now it's my distinct honor to introduce our next speaker. Congressman Russell Fry represents South Carolina's 7th Congressional District, serving the Grand Strand and the PD. Elected in 2022, he has quickly established himself as a leading voice focused on economic growth, energy independence, and government accountability. A native of Surfside Beach, Congressman Fry is a graduate of the University of South Carolina and the Charleston School of Law. Before his election to Congress, he spent 7 years in the South Carolina House of Representatives, where he rose to the role of Chief Majority Whip and built a strong record on pro-growth tax policy, public safety, and tackling the opioid crisis. In Congress, Congressman Fry serves on the powerful House Energy and Commerce Committee, where he plays a leading role in shaping national policy on energy, telecommunications, healthcare, and emerging technologies. He has been an outspoken advocate for American energy independence, grid reliability, and restoring the U.S.'s leadership in advanced energy innovation. He is also a member of the House Judiciary Committee, giving him a key role in issues ranging from public safety to legal reform and government accountability. Prior to entering public office, he practiced law along the Grand Strand for more than a decade, giving him first-hand insight into the challenges facing families, small businesses, and working people in coastal South Carolina. So please help me welcome Congressman Fry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. And I said, it's all right.
Well, we could keep jamming to that. I think that'd be better, right? Good morning. It's good to be here. Thank you for the warm welcome. I told my wife that I was coming to this conference to speak with you, and she said, well, as you're preparing your remarks, just don't split hairs, Russell. And I said, splitting is kind of the whole point, right? Come on, that was a great dad joke. It's so good to be here with so many leaders, not only in government, but industry, academia, and our national laboratories for the second annual South Carolina Nuclear Summit. Let me start by thanking the University of South Carolina's Molinaroli College of Engineering and Computing for hosting today's event, along with the Palmetto Nuclear Coalition and Santee Cooper. Bringing all of us together under one roof is no small feat, and this summit is quickly becoming one of the nation's most important energy conversations happening anywhere in this country. And that's fitting, because South Carolina isn't just along for the ride when it comes to nuclear energy. We are driving the direction on where this industry is headed. And as many of you know, South Carolina is the third largest nuclear producing state in the country. We're usually not the top 5 for many things, so it's kind of good to have that hallmark. For decades, our communities have provided safe, reliable, carbon-free baseload, powering millions of families and businesses across the Southeast. But today's summit is about something even bigger. The fact that South Carolina is emerging as the proving ground for America's next era in nuclear energy. Across the state, we have world-class assets that no other state can match. The Westinghouse fuel fabrication facility right here in Columbia, not only a pillar for our workforce, but a strategic piece of America's nuclear supply chain. The Savannah River site, where's my Savannah people? Savannah, there we go. The Savannah River National Laboratory continue to lead the nation in material science and environmental management and cutting-edge nuclear research. And down the road, in Joint Base Charleston, where integration of military readiness and advanced nuclear energy is opening doors for our national security. But in my district, we're also proud, in the PD, of one of the backbone facilities of our state's nuclear fleet. Duke Energy's Robinson Nuclear Plant in Darlington County. Where's Duke Energy? I know we got Duke here. Has been safely powering South Carolina for more than 50 years and continues to provide affordable, reliable electricity to our homes and businesses across the region. It's a reminder that nuclear energy isn't theoretical. It's already woven into the daily life right here in South Carolina. Our economic strength relies on it, our energy reliability of our state. All these assets are tied together in a very great talent pipeline that runs straight through this arena right here this morning, through the University of South Carolina and its engineering and computing programs that are training the next generation of scientists, designers, and innovators. But the centerpiece of our state's next chapter, the anchor of tomorrow's nuclear development, is VC Summer. Last year's summit made clear that VC Summer remains one of the most consequential assets in the Southeast. It is a site with a very difficult past. I saw Senator Tom Davis here earlier. He and I served on a committee when Westinghouse had declared bankruptcy, and it all kind of seemed to cascade and fall apart after that. It was a very dark place for our state's energy history and a dark time for our state. But now, I think we're standing at a moment where that time is past. And now there is a tremendous opportunity in front of us. The federal government, private sector, and national labs all recognize what many of us here have believed for years, that VC Summer is the next best site in the United States to demonstrate the next generation of advanced reactors. In Washington, I have the privilege of serving on the House Energy and Commerce Committee, where we oversee national energy policy grid security, permitting reform, or permitting generally, which makes most people's eyes glaze over, but which I think is such a critical component to tomorrow's energy production. We oversee innovation and America's future energy portfolio. It is one of the most important committees in Congress. And I think at its core, what energy does is lift people out of poverty. It provides opportunity. It powers their homes and their businesses in hopefully a reliable and affordable way. That is what drives innovation in this country. That is what drives the middle class, is what you do in providing and producing that electricity. This year, our committee advanced bipartisan legislation. Nothing is bipartisan in Congress except some of the things that we've worked on to modernize our energy grid, strengthen the domestic fuel supply, accelerate advanced nuclear deployment, and give the United States the tools that it needs to compete on a world stage with adversaries like China or Russia, who are racing to dominate this market. And let's be clear, the world is going to build nuclear facilities. They're going to build and develop nuclear technology. But the question for us is whose? Will it be American? Will it be safe? Will it be democratic nations shaping the standards? Or will we cede ground to our adversaries overseas? That is the question on so many fronts. Critical minerals, energy. But South Carolina, I believe, is answering that question loudly and clearly. Because when you look at everything happening in this state, across government, industry, defense, and academia, it is obvious that South Carolina is not just participating in nuclear innovation, we are leading it. That leadership absolutely matters on a global scale. It matters for grid reliability as we face increasing demand and the need for 24/7 power that wind and solar alone simply cannot provide. It matters for national security as our military, our allies, and our industrial base depend on energy reliability and resilient supply chains. It matters for global competitiveness as nations choose partners for reactor exports, fuel cycles, and long-term collaboration. We have what no one else has: the science, the workforce, the infrastructure, the public support, and the momentum, most of all. But the greatest challenge we have is the one sitting in this room. Or the greatest advantage, challenge too, I guess, maybe for me. Leaders who understand that nuclear energy is not just a promise for the future, it is a necessity for the present. So as we kick off today's discussions, I want to leave you with this. This summit isn't just a gathering. It is a signal to Washington, to industry, to the world, that South Carolina intends to lead America's next nuclear era. And as long as I'm serving in Congress and on the House Energy and Commerce Committee, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that the federal government is a full partner in that effort. Thank you for what you do for nuclear energy. Thank you for what you do for our state and our country. It is an honor to represent the Palmetto State, and I look forward to working with each of you as we build the next generation of American nuclear leadership right here in South Carolina. Thank you, and have a great day.